Coming up next, we have another former congressman, Congressman Steve Stockman. He was from Texas, and he is one of the guys who knows what it means to pay a price for defending freedom. He was exposing the Obama administration on some really, really nasty issues, and they came after him with a vengeance over and over and over again until they were finally able to lock him up. So he has paid a price for defending our freedom. Many of us will end up paying a price if we continue to stand for freedom, but I'll tell you what, freedom is worth it, and we're all going to pay a price if we let it die. So Congressman, come on up. Thank you very much, Congressman Steve Stockman.
Hello? Hello? You know, if you guys in the back could move back a little bit, I was sitting back there, I couldn't hear anything. But it's what? Oh. Well, you know what? It's good to be back. I was here, by the way, Richard doesn't, do you guys notice Richard doesn't age? I want to know his cold cream because he's like incredible. And I spoke here to this organization. It actually was in Missouri, and I believe it was Missouri, and they had a tornado. And we all went down the basement. So was anybody here for that event at all when we had a tornado? No? All right, well, that's interesting. I'm also happy to be here with Wayne Allen Root, which I don't know if you want to, but you should listen to him on Bill Cunningham's show. Does anybody listen or know who Bill Cunningham is? Well, you should listen. He's on Sunday night, and he's real popular. Does anybody know who Jack Smith is? Anybody? 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 All right, raise your hand if you know who Jack Smith is. Oh, wow. Jack Smith is the one that's going after President Trump. And Jack Smith went after me. And I am here to tell you, something's wrong, I don't know. They took 4 grand juries, $22 million to indict me. And it took 4 years. And one of the reasons they indicted me was I went after Obama. I was the first one to call for his impeachment. And then I showed that he was sending money to what's the Haqqani network, which is a terrorist network, borders Pakistan and Afghanistan. And so what happened is after me exposing that, and also I called on Fox News, I called for the arrest of Lois Lerner, and got one fan. But right after that, 2 weeks later, the FBI showed up at my door. Now let me tell you something about the FBI. The FBI, what you watch on TV, is not the same FBI it used to be. They started doing what was called diversity hiring. And anybody that listens to NPR, that's diversity hiring. They only hire people that agree with them. They're far left. In fact, the FBI agent came to my door. Believe it or not, she left her Facebook page up. She's hardcore left. And it's amazing. It's not the same thing. You used to have a criminal background. You used to have some kind of identity to which you were tied to law. And now, frankly, most of them are hired out of, social programs like women's studies and things like that. So if you have a women's study FBI agent, I don't think they're going to follow the law or even know the Constitution. In fact, this woman that showed up was a second-generation new immigrant who knows little of our foundations or our traditions or our heritage. And when they picked me up, I was at the airport. Very similar, by the way. You see this, they do the same thing over and over again. We offered to come in, and when they picked me up, I was on my way to the airport, and they had 25 people there for me at the airport. And they were applauding, laughing, and giggling, and took away, I'm a diabetic, they took away my insulin, telling me that I wasn't going to have insulin anymore, and they threw me in a cell with no restroom or bathroom and refused to let me out to use the restroom or bathroom. And I later found out the reason why is they want you to look disheveled when they take your photograph for the press when they release it, so they can see that. And Trump had a different philosophy. What I did in my picture, I actually smile, but you see my hair and everything's messed up. That's the reason why. They want to present you in the worst light. On the way to the court, one of the guys in the back seat kept talking about the wall. Now remember, I was just arrested and charged with, like they did with Trump, they stacked the charges, 27 felonies. It was over 500 years in prison. By the way, I told my wife if I got convicted of 500 years, I was only going to do half the time. Actually, the conviction ended up being 283 years. But what I'm here to tell you is that they're taking away. I want to talk a little bit about the people that are here. This is really serious. Because if you watch, the left is systematically taking down our defenses. The police are being attacked. The conservative lawyers all trying to get their license removed. In fact, we were successful with Giuliani and also successful with a friend out in California. It's systematically taking away our defenses. And the sheriffs are the last defense that they're going to go after. And we need to make this organization bigger and stronger, and more people need to join it. If this organization is not expanded, this nation is in real trouble. I hope by the next meeting you triple your size. They need to hear what people are saying. They're elected. That's what a threat is. That's the problem for the left. They don't like elections. You hear Biden all the time talking about democracy and elections. In the meantime, he won't debate his opponents. He's kicked off people that are on the ballot. They're trying to kick Trump off the ballot. Is that the definition of having open, honest elections? And then they systematically, Jack Smith systematically organizes 3 court cases with 90 felonies. Honestly, this is insane. So I just have to tell you this. They're going after you, and Trump's really right. He said they're going after me, but they're really after you. And when you have, I can't remember Steve King, by the way, is a great American, isn't he? We love him. Steve King, he was so funny. I said, Steve, you going to go interview with the New York Times? Yeah, I'll be okay. And they lied. Oh, I know. If they're here, you guys are liars. Don't tell the truth. Let's be honest. So the thing is that they're coming after you, and you guys really need. In fact, there's a guy here named Doug. There he is. Give him a check. He's running in Idaho, which, by the way, I'm from Texas. I think Idaho is a beautiful state. The other thing, too, Steve, I got to tell you this. It's really puzzling to you guys who are talking about CO2. I represented 87 refineries. Our area down in Houston, Texas, makes almost all the gasoline for the United States. And if a communist or something sinks a ship near Houston, you guys will be running on fumes. The thing that's so bizarre to me, Steve, I don't know if you know this, but we're short on CO2. They use, in those refineries, they use CO2. So why aren't they just shipping it down to us? I think it's a political scam. Just like in these Dutch farmers, they're destroying, people don't realize Holland's one of the biggest provider of foods. They're destroying the food in Ukraine. They're destroying the food in Holland. These people are sick. They're mentally sick. And we need to stop them. And if I can risk by the way, our friend Dana Robacker told me what I was doing, a congressman from California. How many know Dana? No one knows Dana. Dana's great. Oh, okay, we got 2 fans over there. Steve's a great fan. Dana told me, he said, Steve, they're either going to kill you or lock you up. Stop what you're doing. Then I had another Democrat congresswoman who told me, Steve, they're after you. Shut your mouth. Are you guys going to shut your mouth? Are you going to shut your mouth? Are you going to fight? Then let's fight. Make this conference big. Make it mean something. They're going to go after the sheriffs. They're going to destroy the sheriffs because that's a threat to them. And you watch it time and time again. When you see someone there coming after a citizen, it's God bless these sheriffs who stood up and protected your rights. We're losing our rights so rapidly. And I feel so grievous about how our lawyers, the constitutional lawyers, they're going after all of them. A lot of the lawyers that helped me, everyone from Sidney Powell to out in California. You guys, we're in deep, deep pudding right now. And I want to tell you that I love this organization. It is a protector of freedom. If you love freedom, you need to expand it. You know, it's really easy not to talk, to talk about it and not do anything. And I got in trouble because I did something. I was upset because Obama was sending a bunch of immigrants into my district that didn't vote Republican. And now we have a county called Liberty County, and they dumped 100,000 people in a congressional district. And most of them are not on our side. And I think we found that out, that you're starting to see the fruit that is born when you see people that are anti-Semitic rising up and saying, death to America in our country? Really? Are you talking about death to America? That's death to me. And you're in my country? I offer you a room in my house, and this is how you disrespect me. I am not going to tolerate that, and you don't need to tolerate it. And I was giving a little talk, and so I found out someone made a trailer, and they're doing a documentary on me. I have not been able to speak because I was under the government thumb. Trump commuted my sentence. He didn't pardon me. Someone said, why didn't he pardon you? And I said, because I got pardoned 2,000 years ago. But I tell you what, my sentence was commuted, which means the government still had their thumb on me. But now, as December 22nd of last year, I can talk again. It feels good. I would like to show you the trailer they're putting together. And if our friend back there can do it, run the trailer and tell me what you think. The trailer, the first one, I think it is. I don't know what you're running. What's it say? There you go.
American
Turn it up.
lawyers like to say our justice system is the fairest in the world. If that's true, I pity the rest of the world. Because in America, a small, powerful group of Washington overlords, federal prosecutors, sometimes break rules to win cases, often wrecking the lives of people who did nothing wrong.
Congressman Steve Stockman out of Texas.
Why do you want to seek impeachment of this president?
He filed his resolution to arrest Lois Lerner just yesterday. Congressman, good to see you.
These families here deserve justice, and they deserve you fighting for them because somebody in the White House is lying, and they want you to be quiet.
Texas congressman is now in custody and faces years behind bars after a jury found him guilty of fraud and conspiracy charges
on 23 out of 24 counts.
Steve Stockman has served 10 years in federal prison.
Stop having them intimidate you. Stand up for our Constitution. Fight for the Constitution. Don't back down.
If the government wants to put you in prison, you will go to prison. It doesn't matter whether you're innocent or not.
What do you think? Steve, you make me nervous. You raise hell. I'm sorry. I love my country, and I hate seeing it being torn apart by a bunch of crazy, sicko leftists who are willing to lie, cheat, and steal, and destroy this nation. I'm not going to sit down and shut up. It is the most surreal thing for me to watch, actually from prison, them burning down our cities, destroying our nation, and then they said January 6th. I think January 6th learned from everybody there. There was no guns there. What kind of rebellion where they didn't bring guns? And the only person shot wasn't all these 5 police officers they're talking about. There was only one person shot. She was demonstrating peacefully. And that guy who shot her should be held accountable. He shot an unarmed protester. By the way, y'all feel comfortable like a warm bath. It's great being here among so many friends. I served time in prison, and everybody goes, was it a real prison? Listen, they treat conservatives and Christians totally different than they treat anybody else. It was worse. I was put in solitary. They shackled my hands and feet. My ankles bled because they tightened around your ankles so you can't move, and it cuts your skin. They deprived me of food. They deprived me of my medication. Yes, it was a real prison. They put me in one of the cells. They put me in with psychopathic child molesters. They do not like conservatives, and they treat you that way. Remember, the DOJ runs the prisons. And these January 6 people, God bless them. There's a website called American Gulag, and they got names in there. If you can just make the smallest contributions, write them a letter. They try to isolate you. In fact, I give a presentation. It's 90 minutes long. The left, what they do is they call it targeting, isolate, then chop off. They're trying to do that with Trump. They did it with me. The FBI interviewed even car mechanics. They spent 4 years to indict me, and $22 million. And was 2 donors. One of them, which many people in here in the room doesn't, I think knows, it's a guy that produces the U-Line catalog. He's a great conservative guy. If you guys ever want to buy office supplies, buy it from Dick. But he was trashed because he's donating to conservative causes. And there was only 2. The money that they charged me was supposedly, by the way, if you have a nonprofit, I can guarantee you, and God bless you guys that have nonprofits, but they can throw you in jail in a heartbeat. I was in prison with a lot of other conservatives, and they were thrown in prison because of the nonprofits. And that was Lois Lerner, who went from the Federal Election Commission over to the IRS. And she met with Obama frequently, and she drafted a memo saying how you can target and throw people in jail that run nonprofits that are conservative, and they follow that manual to this day. In fact, 2 of the people that she sent it to signed my indictment. If you think that you're protected and you're special and you're not going to, that's why they titled my title was a joke actually, but everybody wants T-shirts now. It says if you're not being investigated, arrested by the FBI, then you're not trying hard enough. But 2 weeks after my commutation from the president, as soon as he signed the commutation, I thought something was up. The guard wouldn't tell me what was going on. He said, he's from Nigeria. We can't even get people here to work those jobs, and they pay them like $25 to $40 an hour. He goes, put your stuff in a bag, put your stuff in a bag. And in prison, I learned the acronym is Special Housing Unit, which means solitary, and they call it the SHU. So at first I said, the SHU, what's the SHU? And then I found out what it was. And so all the guys are coming up to me, it's right before Christmas, and they're coming up to me and saying, oh no, Steve, how they're treating you, they're gonna put you in solitary. Again, this is terrible. And this is after, by the way, I was there, I'm a diabetic, as I told you, and they filled a syringe and put my name on it, which is highly unusual. And it turned out to be fast-acting insulin. I would have immediately gone into a coma and died. And I said, I'm not taking that. And she goes, I don't blame you. I wouldn't take it either. So I thought, okay, I'm getting a special treatment. So I'm packing my stuff up, getting ready to go into the SHU. And I noticed a counselor there, it's usually gone at 3 o'clock, government worker, and he was still there. And I thought this is really odd. So all of a sudden he comes up to me and says, the President of the United States gave you commutation. I was like, God bless you, Jerome. But I feel for so many others that are left in there. One of them I want you to pray for, and I really wish you'd write him and send him some money. His name is John Woods. The FBI agent admitted that he committed fraud in indicting him. And convicted him. The FBI lied. He got probation for committing 2 or 3 felonies and let go. While John Woods is serving 18 years for giving money to a Christian college. The reason he got targeted because he was from Hillary's home state of Arkansas, and he endorsed Trump. They immediately, Jack Smith went after him and deleted 600 megabytes of evidence that showed that he's innocent. So we have our own people, and if you can remember his name is John Woods, Senator John Woods. You need to support him any way you can. They threw him in isolation for months and deprived him of his rights. To this day, he still writes Christian songs and kind of shocked because he's praying. I'm sorry, you guys, but he's praying for me. It's like, you're praying for me. Why are you praying for me? I'm praying for you. You're the one going through all this. And I need you guys to stand together because we're going through some very troubled times and it's coming up. I actually think that thing with Iran, a lot of times I have exposed stuff and that, oh, I got to run this. This is an ad we wrote in prison and we smuggled it out. My wife put it together. The guy that's in the ad is a prisoner. We wrote it for Donald Trump and it was a white liberal Republican who canceled the ad. Had it run where I told him to run, President Trump would be president today. Go ahead and run it, please, the ad. And then I got to go. Thank you. God bless you all.
Honestly, you're asking me to hate. You want me to hate the police, hate white people, hate people of faith, hate America? But then you turn around asking me to vote for a systemic racist because he's a Democrat. Joe Biden voted for segregation. Joe Biden's best friend, Robert Byrd, was in the Klan, the KKK. On top of that, Joe Biden voted to give American citizenship to the racist president of the Confederacy, Jefferson Davis. Honestly, come every election time, white Democrats use the race card to stir up hate. I'm going to follow what Malcolm X said. If you vote for Democrats, not only are you a chump, you are a traitor to your race. So no, I'm not going to vote for the systemic racist, Uncle Clueless Joe Biden.